we are kicking things off with Sean Highkin, the young coach who is proving that learning is the most important thing in the game. He's sharing his journey and insights on his development as a coach, revealing how he's getting better every single season. Get ready to hear his unfiltered take on the grind and the lessons learned on the field.
Here's a simple way to protect your phone without stress. This ALEN 3-pack comes with tempered glass screen protectors, camera lens protectors, and an installation frame for an easier, cleaner fit. It's clear, case-friendly, and built to help guard against scratches and everyday bumps. Check the link in the comments to get it on Amazon.
Next up, we look at some major shifts in the world of education and community. We dive into the story of the Channel YouTube newsroom, where a student found their family and built a career in journalism, sharing the incredible journey from feeling out of place to becoming a news editor. Discover how friendship and taking a chance led to finding a home in the newsroom. Now, we switch gears to high-stakes business drama with a massive financial headline. NBC Boston is covering the lawsuit filed by New England Patriots legend Julian Edelman against his former business collaborator, Asaf Swissa, over a $50 million sale of the superdigital firm. Find out exactly what Edelman claims was cut out of his share of that massive windfall. And finally, we turn to a massive public policy battle in New York City. Assemblymember Sarah Ann Clark is pushing hard for an extra $500 million to eliminate crippling waitlists for childcare workers, arguing that current plans aren't enough. We break down the urgency and the political fight to ensure families can actually access the care they desperately need. Stay with us for the rest of the news. Young coach Sean Highkin has been candid about his development in the coaching world, emphasizing a continuous learning process. In a recent statement shared on X, Highkin acknowledged his inexperience while highlighting his progress. "I'm still learning. I'm still a young coach," he stated. While he downplayed comparisons to legendary figures, Highkin asserted tangible improvement, noting, "I'm not saying I'm Phil Jackson, but I've gotten better as a coach for sure from last summer." The comments underscore a commitment to growth and a realistic perspective on the journey of coaching development. A reflection on the journey of a student journalist at Appalachian State University details the transformative experience of finding a community and a career in news. The author recounts transferring to App State as a creative writing major, initially feeling out of place in the rigorous world of journalism and AP style. The turning point came at Channel YouTube, where the author found a supportive family through friendship and mentorship. Overcoming initial challenges, including mastering new writing conventions, led to the position of news editor for the award-winning student newspaper. The piece emphasizes the importance of taking risks, noting that the opportunity at Channel YouTube was a chance taken on the self that led to finding a home within the newsroom. The report concludes with an appeal for support, explaining that while university funding assists with compensation, operational expenses rely heavily on advertising revenue, donations, and support from the campus community, local businesses, and alumni to maintain editorial independence and public interest journalism accessible to a global audience. New England Patriots legend Julian Edelman has filed a lawsuit against a former best friend and business collaborator, alleging he was excluded from a $50 million sale of a digital advertising firm they co-developed. The firm, Superdigital, reportedly grew from an initial pitch made by founder Asaf Swissa to Edelman, who was the first client. According to Edelman's lawsuit, Swissa referred to Edelman as a partner, but failed to share in the proceeds from the sale, claiming Swissa capitalized on the value built by Edelman without providing any compensation. The legal filing, submitted to Boston's Suffolk Superior Court earlier this month, asserts that Swissa cut Edelman out of the entire sale. Edelman stated that he learned about the sale in August through another source, and that Swissa later contacted Edelman's father with the news, allegedly promising compensation. Edelman recounted a confrontation regarding the matter while working on an unspecified Duncan project, stating, "I've gone to bat for you for years. I helped you build that company and got you a lot of your deals. You couldn't pay me anything." In response, Swissa reportedly told Edelman, "We're best friends and shouldn't say things right now while we're emotional. We'll revisit this at the appropriate time." The lawsuit further claims that Swissa never paid Edelman for the sale, despite allegedly offering to leave their media company, Nuthouse Sports, which produces Edelman's podcasts. Edelman is seeking damages and a percentage of the superdigital sale, asserting that he was an agreed-upon partner in the firm. Policymakers across New York are urgently demanding an additional $500 million to address the critical workforce shortage and crippling waitlists plaguing the state's childcare system, arguing that current proposals are insufficient to realize universal care goals. As state budget negotiations continue to focus on other contentious issues, lawmakers are pushing for immediate action on childcare affordability and access. Governor Kathy Hochul recently announced a plan to create a pathway to universal childcare by expanding universal pre-K statewide and funding free care for 2-year-olds in New York City, involving a $1.7 billion increase in funding for the new fiscal year, including $1.2 billion in subsidies. However, childcare providers state that this plan fails to adequately address the existing workforce shortage and backlogs. Childcare providers are stressing that while wage increases have occurred, they remain insufficient to sustain livelihoods, forcing many to leave the profession. Thousands of children are currently stuck on waitlists, placing an immense burden on struggling New York families. Experts argue that the current reimbursement model for the Child Care Assistance Program does not cover essential operational costs like rent and livable wages. Advocates are calling for the inclusion of the extra $500 million in the state budget to establish a permanent workforce compensation fund and stabilize the assistance program. They contend that the current block grant model, which allows for uneven distribution of funds across counties, exacerbates inequities, leading to situations where some counties have resources while others face severe waitlists. Pressure is mounting from local officials as well. New York City Council members, including Jennifer Gutierrez and Althea Stevens, have warned the governor that the current plan does not resolve voucher shortfalls or the existing waitlist, which has surged to over 17,000 children and is projected to exceed 30,000 families next year. They are demanding an additional $1.14 billion in Child Care Assistance Program, funding through fiscal year 2027, to manage projected demand. In the legislative arena, Assemblymember Sarah Ann Clark is actively urging colleagues to support the extra funding for the workforce, emphasizing that without it, the promise of universal childcare will remain a political talking point. Assemblymember Andrew Hevesi has called for $1.2 billion specifically for the childcare workforce, policy changes to eliminate waitlists statewide, and a minimum 30% rate differential for children with diagnosed developmental delays. While Assembly Speaker Carl Heastie indicated that budget negotiations for the minimum $263 billion spending plan are progressing, the inclusion of specific childcare funding remains unclear. The core demand from providers and advocates is clear. Immediate financial and structural support is necessary to ensure the childcare system can function effectively and meet the needs of the state's families.